start, go ahead and find your version of an easy seat. If you want your legs out long in front of you, awesome. If you want them folded, fantastic. If you do want to sit up on a block right now, you can do that. Sometimes that's really nice. At the YMCA, we use that quite a bit. You know, it helps elongate your spine and just naturally gets you into that idea of finding integrity in your spine. And so feel free to do that to a block or a book, all right? So we are just gonna get started and go ahead and let's just get some blood flowing by rolling those shoulders out, kind of our way we almost always start. So go ahead and bring those shoulders up to the ears, down and back. Awesome, up to the ears. And just move at your own pace, right? Your arms can hang long and loose, or you can almost make bigger circles with them if that feels better for your shoulders. Now, after you've done that a few times, go ahead and reverse that by bringing them up and forward. Or if you started with that, then just flip-flop, right? Flip-flops, we'll be doing flip-flops. All right, now let's let those hands come to rest, those shoulders come to rest. Let's just carefully let our right ear float to our right shoulder. Just let that release. Now, you may want to also add the weight of your right hand on your head. Let your opposite hand go out to the side and down at an angle. Maybe you wiggle those fingers to kind of activate that whole arm. Maybe you hold it still, maybe you just let it float down. Or you can also bend those fingertips so they're facing more towards your ceiling. All right, let's release that and come through the middle and then just to the other side. So whichever side you did first, go to the other side. The hand is on the head really just for weight. It isn't pressuring or pulling. Okay, and if you want to add the opposite hand, go ahead and do that. Wiggle those fingers to really activate that arm. Maybe you want to bring those fingers towards the ceiling. Just the stretch feels very different that way, so whatever feels better. All right, let's come back to center. Now let's take a deep inhale, and as we come up, find length in that spine, and as we exhale, just release down. We're just kind of gently activating those arms right now. Sometimes we really activate and it's as if we're pushing through water. Oh gosh, we're like the lotus flower coming out of the mud. That would be a good analogy, right? All right, now let's do that one more time. Nice big inhale as you come up. And as you exhale, bring your hands through to heart center, letting those hands come down to your knees, and we're just going to take a moment to settle into our breath. So if you wish to close those eyes, that's fantastic. If you wish to keep them open, that's fantastic too, right? Sometimes if you'd rather keep them open, you can almost just blur your gaze a little bit. And we're just going to take a moment to really come into that breath. So take a big exhale, right? Just exhale, get rid of everything you don't need. And then do a nice slow inhale where you consciously try to think of inhaling from that belly and filling up the ribs and filling up the shoulders till you've got all that air there, and then just hold it for a second. And then slowly release it. Now on your next inhale, let's inhale together, and we're going to do a slow inhale to a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and now right at the top we're going to hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, and now an exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Now continue with either that breathing, that one-to-one breathing, or just some natural breath. Let your mind come to all of us together right now, sharing our practice together, all right? And while you do that, I'm going to circle back to our theme for the day, which is hope. As you know, I always tend to share a quote or two. And this one's from Desmond Tutu. Hope is being able to see that there is light. There is light despite all of the darkness. Being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. And then the partner quote I have with it is from Stacey Martin. It's a delicate walk to balance hope with chaos. And I chose that today because I think we're living in a time that seems chaotic at times, right? And I don't know if you're like me, sometimes I really waver in how up I am or how I'm not feeling as much hope. And there's an old line, right, about hope is not a strategy. And when I used to work with kids, I always thought that, well, hope's not a strategy. We've got to figure out what to do to make it happen. And I still agree with that. But I think in the time we're living, I feel like there's a different kind of hope, right? There's the hope in the moving forward and knowing that we will continually find that light. We will continually grow. Things will continually get better. We will find, as Desmond Tutu says, the light in those moments of darkness. And as Stacey Martin said, we will learn to balance that hope and that chaos and keep moving forward. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts for the day. All right, now if your eyes are closed, go ahead and flutter those eyes open. If they're already open and you're itching to get moving, well, you came to the right place because it's time to get moving. All right, so let's just inhale those arms out to the side, and we're going to do a little spinal twist. Choose whichever direction you want. Pull that belly in and begin to twist from the belly, through the ribs, through the shoulders, and I backed myself too far into the buffet, so hopefully you did not. And once you get in that twist, go ahead and let those arms come down. And as you inhale, try to find length in your spine. It's letting in that air and that light. And as you exhale, maybe you deepen the twist a little bit, maybe not. Cool. Let's come back to the middle and release that, and we'll go to the other side. Inhale those arms out, and on the exhale, pull that belly in, begin to twist through your belly, your ribs, and lastly, your shoulder and gaze goes over. Letting that front hand come down, back hand go down. All right, let's come back to center. If you are on a block, as I am, go ahead and hop off that block, a block or a book. Okay, we're just going to do a lateral stretch, and I'd like us to be closer to the ground for that. All right, so go ahead and plant your right hand on the ground. Inhale that left arm up and just slowly bring it over. This time our sit bones are staying grounded into the mat. We're taking the length of this long spine over with us. Now go ahead and pull that belly to the spine, release that hand down, other hand comes up and over. All right, let's come back to center. One more on each side. So we're going to do a fair amount of twisting today in our practice. Sounds a little funny, a little twisting. We're also going to do some balancing poses, some warriors, because I feel like when we're balancing hope and chaos, I guess I'm going one more round on this. It's good to be in touch with our warrior poses, right? And we're also going to bring back our hummingbird pose. Some of you may have remember our hummingbird pose, mainly because I'm just so antsy to get my first hummingbird. So I feel like this will encourage it on. All right, from here, let's go ahead. We are going to move into our cows and our cats on all fours. If you would like to do a seated cow and cat, stay right where you are. Otherwise, if you'd like to come to all fours, go ahead. And we are going to put our shoulders over our wrist creases, our knees under our hips, shoelaces, so to speak, of our feet are flat on the floor. And whether we're seated or we're in all fours, we are going to inhale and drop our belly, lift our gaze for cat. And on the exhale, we're going to pull our belly button to our spine, tuck that tail, tuck that chin. Find that rounded Halloween cat spine. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Tuck that tail, pull that belly. Couple more. Move following your breath cycle. All right. We have those wide starfish hands. And we are going to come back to neutral. I just want to mention something. If you are having wrist soreness, as we learn to gain strength in our wrist when we do chaturangas and down dogs and cats and cows, that's awesome. But if you are having any kind of discomfort in your wrist, always know an option is, look, there's my Kleenex hiding under the mat. You can bend the edge of your mat back and put the palm, the heel of your hand right on that crease for a little extra padding, and that's a great thing. You can also do the same thing with a blanket, but I digress. But back to all fours, all right? So just one more cow and cat, and then we are going to move into some spinal balance. All right, so let's come back to that neutral spine. We're all aligned here. And when you are ready, you can choose either side. You're going to lift one of your front arms forward, thumb to the sky as if we're hitchhiking, and the opposite leg goes back. Okay, keep that leg active for 3, 2, 1. Release that down. Go the opposite arm, opposite leg. Keep that leg flexed and active for 3, 2, 1. Let's release that down. Same thing, opposite side. Release. Opposite side. Gaze is down, neck is long. Okay, we don't want to be straining that neck. One more on each side. And as you do these, pull that belly to the spine. Awesome. Now, one more variation on this is our cat. When we do it in chair yoga, it's a seated cat, it's a dancing cat. So, but we are going to extend, just like we did in spinal balance. This time you can keep your leg long if you wish. And on the exhale, we're going to bring that knee towards that elbow. So we're going to inhale, stretch. Exhale, knee to elbow. When we round, we have kind of that cat spine. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, knee to elbow. One more. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, knee to elbow. Release that down, and now let's just do the same thing on the other side. Okay? Go ahead and inhale that opposite arm, opposite leg. And you've got this long body, and on the exhale, you're going to bring that knee to your elbow as you round that cat spine. Knee to elbow. Keep that belly pulled to the spine. And one more. I think I evened this out. You all know that I'm not very consistent with counting. So, all right, from here, let's move into that child's pose. Bring your big toes to touch your knees as wide as the mat, or even wider if you wish. Let those hips float down and come into that child's pose. Now, as you do, let that forehead just kind of melt to the mat. If that is not comfortable for you, know you can always put your hands underneath it, or you can put a block underneath your forehead. All right, now let's walk our hands to either side. I'm going to start going to this side. All right, opposite side, we're just going to get a little lateral stretch. Now come back through the middle and let's walk our hands to the other side. Again, a little lateral stretch. Awesome. Let's come back through the middle and let's come back up onto that tabletop, getting ready to move into our high plank or our knees plank. Okay, so find your high plank or knees plank. You might have to reposition yourself on the mat a little bit. All right, check your alignment. Make sure your shoulders are over your wrist creases. All right, hands are wide and strong. Really push into the fingers and the knuckles. Okay, you're kind of creating this dome shape in your upper back. All right, and when you are ready, we are going to push up and back into down dog, lifting those hips high. All right, now go ahead and find your down dog. We're looking for building length in our spine. If you want to pedal out your down dog, come up on all of your toes and then drop one heel and the other. All right, now in that down dog, really push into the knuckles of your thumbs and the knuckles of your first fingers. All right, now let's come to stillness here. Now walk your feet together. So your big toes are touching. And we're just going to rock up on those toes and bring our heels towards the base of the mat. Rock up on all those toes. Bring your heels down. Rock up on all those toes last time. Bring your heels down. Now go ahead and we are going to walk up towards our hands, but we are going to cross midline with our feet. Okay, so we're kind of weaving our feet until we get up to that first forward fold. All right, so put a good size bend in those knees, right? Because we really want to let those hamstrings stretch. We want to let that head hang long. Keep breathing. Now let's go ahead and heel toe our feet about hip distance apart, so probably wider than maybe they were. You can even go a little farther if you wish. And we're going to frame our face with our arms. We're going to make this little picture frame, right? For ragdoll forward fold. And we are just going to find a little movement in the upper part of our body. We're really moving from here on up. Or I guess you'd say down, since we're upside down. All right, now let's come back to stillness and release those hands down. You may find in your forward fold that you're slowly taking some of that bend out of your knees. You may find you're not. It doesn't matter, right? We're just trying to find that length and that deep stretch. Now from here, go ahead and bring your fingertips to the ground, okay? We're just going to come up on our toes. We're lifting our heels. And now let's release them down. Now let's lift our toes off the mat. Now place all 10 toes down on the mat and lift those heels up one more time. And set those heels down. Come back to maybe your feet are a little bit closer than hip distance if that's comfortable. All right. And now let's inhale up to that half lift. All right. Pull those shoulders away from your ears. We have this long, flat number 7 spine. Belly is pulled in and up. All right. Now, let's go ahead and we're starting to, warm up for our hummingbird later. So go ahead and lift those arms up into what you think of as airplane arms, right? So either your palms can be to the ground, or you can choose your palms to the sky. Maybe you rotate a little bit. Now let's release that down into that forward fold. From here, pull that belly to the spine. We are going to slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time, letting our head come last, letting our arms hang heavy. Shoulders roll down and back. Awesome. Let's bend those knees, sweep those arms up for tall mountain. Exhale into that forward fold. Inhale into that half. Lift, add your airplane arms. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees so that you can plant your fingertips on the ground. And again, we're going to rock up on all of our toes. We're lifting those heels off the ground. Place those heels back down and lift those toes off the ground. One more time, plant those toes on the ground, lift the heels. Awesome. Now let's bend those knees, circle, sweep those arms up, and come through to heart center. Fantastic. All right, now we're going to move into a Warrior One series. All right. So we're going to be towards the front of our mat. We are going to step back with our right foot is going to stay forward. Our left foot is going to step into that Warrior One. Now, I'm guessing if you look at me, I'm going to be reverse. But our right foot is forward, left foot is back, okay? Square those hips forward, pull that hip crease back to find this Warrior One, Virabhadrasana One. When you're ready, go ahead and add your arms, your strong warrior arms. Pinkies are coming in. It's as if you've got this giant beach ball. Awesome. Now let's release our hands behind our back. Roll those shoulders down, back, straighten those arms. We are going to move into Humble Warrior. All right, so we are going to slowly hinge at the hips, folding forward, and we're going to bring that right shoulder towards the inside of that right knee. Okay, so we're coming down at a little bit of an angle today. Really pushing into those feet for your stability. Awesome. Now push into the feet as if you're splitting the mat apart and come back up into that Warrior One. Fantastic. Now lift that back heel. We're going to kind of move into a shortened lunge because we're going to move into our Warrior Three. So go ahead and release your hands back into those airplane arms, hips if you'd rather, and you're going to begin hinging at the hips. Well, that back leg just slowly lifts up in this strong Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. And when you are ready, release that into chair pose. All right, fantastic. So you've got, if it's comfortable for you to zip up your legs in chair pose, fantastic. We've got a bend in our knees, our belly is pulled in, our tail is tucked. Shoulders are down. We're in chair. Utkatasana, powerful chair. Just love saying Utkatasana. All right. From here, we are going to circle sweep those arms and bring them up. And we are going to come up on all those toes a little bit. All right, so we're lifting those heels off the ground, a little bit of balance. And release those toes down, release your arms. Moving into our first hummingbird. Yay! And the crowd goes wild. All right, so for that hummingbird, let's bring the backs of the hands together. Bring them around behind our back, clasping our hands, just like we did in Humble Warrior. Roll those shoulders down and back, open that heart, okay? Big toes are touching, if that's available for you. Got a little bend in the knees. We're gonna fold forward just a little bit, okay? Not as much as a traditional forward fold. Release those hands, also known as hummingbird wings, and when you're ready, just lift those heels off the ground, find your hummingbird. You can even buzz your wings. Buzz your wings, no, flap your wings, I guess. That makes more sense. All right, when you are ready, release those heels to the ground. We're going to come right back into Utkatasana, that powerful chair. Lower body is strong, upper body is long. Just for 3, 2, 1. Bend those knees, circle sweep those arms up. Come up to your tall mountain one more time on your toes. Lift those heels, and then come down, hands to heart center. Fantastic. See, doesn't that just make you want to see a hummingbird? Maybe you're saying not so much, I don't know. All right, Warrior One series on our other side, all right? So this time our left foot is forward. If you did it in reverse, no worries, right? You're just doing the opposite. Left front leg has a bend in it. Knee is over the ankle or behind it. Back leg is at a little bit of an angle, right? Hips are squared up. Just grab those hips and square them up. When you're ready, inhale those arms up high. Then let those shoulders come down and back. That's strong warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. And keep breathing. So really, Virabhadrasana is the beginning of our balance poses. All right, now let's release those arms from the sky. Clasp our hands behind our back. Roll those shoulders down and back. Open that heart. Okay? And when you are ready, we are going to humble our warrior. Okay? So we're going to hinge at the hips, folding forward, bringing that corresponding shoulder to the inside of that leg. So if it's your left leg to your left shoulder to your left leg, or right shoulder to right leg. Humble warrior. All right, now let's push into the feet and come on up. Find that warrior one. All right, let's lift that back heel a little bit, and maybe you shorten it a little bit. Okay, because we're going to get ready to move in. I'm going to adjust myself on the mat here to our warrior three, Virabhadrasana 3. So when you are ready, we're going to bring those arms back. We're going to push off that back leg, lift it in the air as we come into this strong Virabhadrasana 3. And when you are ready, go ahead and release that down into Utkatasana, powerful chair. All right. Awesome. You can also bring your hands to heart center if you wish in chair. Fantastic. Fantastic. Isn't that kind of an old word? Fantastic. All right, from here, let's bend those knees, circle sweep those arms up. Let's just come up to our toes for a second. Lower our heels down, bring our hands through to heart center, getting ready for our hummingbird pose. Backs of our hands come together. We bring our hands behind our back, roll those shoulders down and back, open our heart. All right, so we have our open heart. Put a little bend in those knees. We hinge at the hips to tip forward just a little bit like we're a little hummingbird, okay? And when you are ready, you can release your little wings, either palms up or palms down. And then go ahead and play with lifting those heels off the ground. Okay, so you're balancing on your toes. Just for 3, 2, 1. We're going to float those heels down and come back into Utkatasana, that powerful chair. Fantastic. All right, now let's bend those knees, sweep those arms around. Come up to that tall mountain. Last time on our toes, go ahead and lift those heels. And bring those heels down as you bring your hands through heart center. Samastitihi. Awesome. All right, let's move on to a little Warrior 2 series. All right. So, be towards the front of your mat. We're going to start in our traditional, inhaling those arms up high. And while we're here, before we go down, pull that belly in, and we're just going to do a little baby back bend. Coming back through center. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale to your half lift, your version, okay? You can add the airplane arms if you want, or just regular. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift one more time. And on an exhale, we're going to plant our hands, step back into our high plank or our knees plank, all right? Take a little moment to get comfortable there. All right? If you wish to go through a chaturanga right now, you can do that. We're all going to meet in down dog. So you can either hold your knees plank or your high plank, or you can drop and go down and then come back up. Or you can stay in your regular plank. Go, maybe you want to go all the way down, hug those elbows in, come to up dog. All right, whatever your preference is. Either way, we're going to meet in down dog. All right, so we're back in that down dog. Push into those knuckles. And when you're ready, inhale that right leg high, bend that knee, help it or step it through to find your low lunge. Awesome. Knee is over ankle. Let's plant that left hand on the ground. Let's sweep that right arm up for that low lunge twist. We need to do lots of twisting for our system now. Now let's release that down. Now we're going to lower that back knee. If that is not comfortable for you, you can put a blanket under it. If it's not, you can stay in your low lunge for a minute, okay? If it's comfortable for you to lower that back knee, again, you can put a blanket into it. We're just going to push into that front knee as we open that hip flexor a little bit. All right, we'll just be here for a moment. Fantastic. Let's plant those hands and go ahead and lift that back knee now. We're going to move into that high crescent lunge. So when you are ready, root down, rise up. Rise up. That's always our Hamilton reference. When you're living on your knees, you rise up. All right. And we did just come from our knees, didn't we? All right, let's find that high crescent lunge. Strong. Let those shoulders come down. Now, let's go ahead and plant our right hand on our right thigh. Okay, your front thigh has that matching hand. We're going to do just a little lateral stretch to the side. And now come on back, and let's open up to that warrior two. All right. Find your strong warrior. Gaze out over those front middle fingers. Middle finger. All right, now let's straighten that front leg and reverse our triangle. And now let's come back to warrior two. From here, let's straighten that leg again, and let's move into full triangle by reaching, and then letting that hand come down to that shin, to the floor, to a block, whatever you prefer, okay? Lifted hand is either straight up and you've got these joints stacked, or go ahead and put it in a bind. We're opening our heart this way. Fantastic. All right, now let's push into the feet. Again, think about that, splitting the mat apart. Come on back up and come to your warrior two. Fantastic. All right, let's let those hands come down, roll those shoulders. Let's bring our feet to face the long edge of the mat. Our feet are parallel or slightly pigeon-toed. We're going to move into a wide angle forward fold. So inhale those arms up high, and on an exhale, we're going to slowly swan dive, coming into a forward fold. Letting that head hang loose. We will not be here too long. On our next one, we'll stay just a touch longer. Some people like to widen their forward fold out a little bit longer, wider, to get their, maybe they want to bring their head closer to the ground, whatever you prefer. All right, now let's come up to that halfway lift position. We've got more of a flat back. Let's plant that left hand, sweep the right arm up for a twist. Release that down, plant that hand, sweep the other arm up for a twist. Awesome. Release that down. Little bend in our knees, and we're going to slowly roll up, letting those arms hang long. Roll those shoulders down and back. Awesome, everybody. And let's find that warrior two. Fantastic. From here, let's flip that front palm and reverse that warrior. And now come on back to that warrior two. Let's reach forward into that extended side angle, letting that front arm come to that front thigh. Back arm comes up and over, if that's comfortable for you, okay? If it is, twinkle those fingers a little bit to make sure they're active. Heart is open, just like in triangle. All right, let's pull that belly to the spine, split that mat apart, coming back to warrior two. From here, we're gonna cartwheel those hands down, framing that front foot, stepping back into your high plank or knees plank. And then at this point, you can either go through a chaturanga, okay, so you can lower down to your belly, hugging those elbows in, coming maybe into baby cobra, or maybe you're coming into up dog, okay? Either way, it's all good, or you might just be staying in that plank and coming back to your down dog. All right, we'll take just a breather here. All right, let's go ahead and lift the opposite leg, lift that left leg high, bend that knee, step it or help it through to find your low lunge. Some days I feel like you have to help it more than other days, right? Go ahead and plant that right hand on the mat. Let's open up to that low lunge twist. Awesome. Let's return to the low lunge. Drop that back leg, drop that back knee, I'm sorry. We're just gonna come up for a little bit of a hip opener, pushing into that front knee. Now let's come on back down. Go ahead and lift that back knee so you've got that low lunge. And when you are ready, we are going to move to high crescent lunge. All right, so we are going to root down and rise up. When you get up to high crescent lunge, go ahead and add your arms. I'm just going to switch directions for you. You are fine. Plus, I get to change the scenery. All right. Now, go ahead and put your left hand on your left thigh. You can push into that if you wish, as we do just a little lateral bend. With the other hand, little bounce, little bend. Let's come back up and open up to that warrior two. All right, take a moment to find that heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Fantastic, strong, powerful warrior arms. Warrior, right? Right here is our balance between hope and chaos, right? So we're solid right in the middle. We're going to be fine. Now from here, let's straighten that palm and reverse our triangle. Straighten that leg and reverse our triangle. Let's come on back to that warrior two. Moving into extended triangle, straighten that front leg, begin to reach. Let that front arm come down to that front shin, to the floor, to a block, whatever you prefer. We're opening up the heart. I can hear the birds outside. I wish we were out with the birds, but I can hear them. All right, now let's pull that belly to the spine, push into the feet, come back to that warrior two. Let's bring our big toes to face the long edge of the mat. Feet are parallel or slightly pigeon-toed. We're going to move into that wide angle forward fold one more time, all right? So inhale those arms up, and on an exhale, hinge at the hips. Begin to fold forward. There's no rush, no hurry. And when you get down, this time we'll stay for a few more minutes. So if you want to widen your stance, you are welcome to do that. Maybe you want to bring your head to a block. I know a lot of people like to do that. Maybe you want to bring your hands through. You want to thread your hands through your legs. Some people prefer to grab their legs near their ankles or their heels. Whichever you're in, if your head isn't on a block or on the floor, just move it side to side. Shake it yes, shake it no. Always come back to yes. And breathe.
All right, we are going to get ready to move out of this. So when you are ready, go ahead and place your hands underneath your face, right where they originally came down. Take a breath here, come into that halfway lift position. All right. Plant your left hand, sweep your right arm up for a little spinal twist. And release that down. Opposite hand goes up. Release that down. And from here, let's put a bend in those knees. Slowly roll up. Let those shoulders and arms hang long. Roll the shoulders down back. If we've been upside down too long, as I always say, we have to get our gyros spun up. That's what my husband always says. All right, and let's move back into that warrior two. Gaze out over those front middle fingers. Find that strength. Release those arms down, roll your shoulders. And as we bring them up, we're coming through the mud like the lotus flower, right? This gorgeous lotus flower that comes from the mud. All right, let's cartwheel down to frame that front foot. Stepping back into our high plank or our knees plank. All right. Take a moment there. If you wish to go through a chaturanga, you can. Otherwise, we're going to meet in down dog for just a moment. All right. And from here, go ahead and drop your knees to the back mat, bringing your knees to the edges of the mat, big toes to touch, and find your child's pose. Now, go ahead and settle into your child's pose, but know that whenever we are practicing, you can always add a chaturanga. When we're moving from plank to down dog, don't hesitate to do that. I will cue that sometimes, but even if I don't cue it, you can always do it. Chaturanga is a pose that's heavy on alignment, and since we can't see each other, I can't see you, I don't cue it as often because it is a pose that can get misaligned, and if it's a little misaligned, it won't feel as good as it should be. So if you have that in your practice and your experience with that, you chaturanga like a wild person. A wild chaturanga person. And if there's some of you that would like to learn that more, don't hesitate, just message me and we can do a little video together on that, but that's always an option. All right, now let's come on back up. Enough of that, right? Not really, you could always stay in child's pose, couldn't you? All right, we are gonna get ready to move into our pigeon. So if you would like to do pigeon on your back, now is a great time to just sweep those legs around, come onto your bottom, and then slowly roll down. If you would like to do pigeon from down dog, I will cue that first. So go ahead and come up into that down dog. All right, and inhale your right leg high. You really could do either. Bend that knee, help it or bring it through, and slowly let it come down by your wrist creases. All right. Now, kind of wiggle that back leg out. All right, and now you have all this length here. We've got a little bit of a back bend going on, right? Excellent. Now stay here for a moment. You can stay here the whole time if you wish, but if you would like to go down into pigeon when you are ready, take a deep inhale, find length in that spine, and then on the exhale, slowly walk forward, letting that upper body melt down. Hips stay squared. Now maybe you want to melt your forehead to the floor. Maybe you want to stacked fists. It really depends on where you are today, right? Maybe you want to use your block or your Harry Potter book. Okay, so whichever you prefer. If you are in pigeon on your back, I'm going to go with my odds. I know my pigeon on the back people go into that really quickly, but if you're somebody that's wondering about that, you're going to bring that right leg up and over. So you've got this finger
figure four, not a finger four, figure four. Now you can gently push that, I wouldn't push right on the knee, but right below the knee, you can gently push that right away from you a little bit to help open up that hip flexor. You can stay here, or if you wish, go ahead and thread the needle and grab the back side of that leg into this version of pigeon. So whichever you prefer, it's a deep stretch. So we'll stay here for a few breaths. And as you breathe, send that breath to wherever you are tight. Just visualize it going into those muscles, into those joints. If you're in pigeon on your back, when you're ready, you can stay a little bit longer, but when you're ready, you can untwist, heel toe your feet to the edges of the mat, and then windshield wipers side to side a little bit. If you are in pigeon from down dog, go ahead and bring those hands back underneath your shoulders and then slowly lift that upper body long, all right? Take a moment here to feel that deep back bend. Then when you're ready, curl those back toes under, lifting that leg up into your three-legged dog. Maybe roll that ankle a second and then send it back down. Knowing that you're going to feel a little discombobulated right now, right? Because we have only one side done. So if you are in pigeon on your back, you are going to do your same figure four on the opposite side. If you're in pigeon from down dog, go ahead and lift that, left leg higher, opposite, whichever one you didn't do. Bend that knee, help it or bring it through, and gently float it down near your wrist crease. Then walk that back leg out, okay? That's where we're building this pose from. Now maybe come up on your fingertips, I was gonna say tiptoes, fingertips a little bit, to feel that nice, beautiful back bend. And then when you're ready, you can choose to stay here, or you can carefully walk those hands forward, coming into your version of pigeon, letting the length in this upper body just float down. Maybe you're coming to stacked fists, maybe to a block. Maybe your forehead's coming right to your palms. It really depends on how we are all built, right? With yoga, there are poses, but they look different on all of us because we need to honor the way we're built and move to match that, not to match someone else. If you are in pigeon on your back, of course you've got that reverse figure four. And I know I've mentioned this before, sometimes on one side I do, if I'm doing my own practice, sometimes in pigeon, one side I'll do it from down dog, and one side I'll do it on my back. Just kind of depends, especially if you have anything going on with your knees. Figure four on your back can get you a deeper stretch that doesn't, create any discomfort on your knees. So if you have discomfort in pigeon, you always want to come out of it. If you are in pigeon from down dog, and when you are ready, go ahead and bring those hands underneath those shoulder blades. Lift that upper body. Maybe you come up onto those fingertips again. Get that nice deep back bend. And then when you're ready, plant those palms. Curl that back toe, those back toes under. Lift that leg high and release it down. Now, maybe in down dog, you need to pedal that out a little bit. If you are in pigeon on your back, you're windshield wipering and finding that movement to release. All right, and
from here, from down dog, let's float our knees down and come to seated. If you are on your back in pigeon, go ahead and come up to seated, all right? We are going to just do a little bit of boat. 'Tis the season, right? All right, so go ahead, find those sit bones, rock into those a little bit. They're nice and firm. Find this nice long spine, right? So in boat, we take this long spine, we place our hands under our thighs, and we just lean back a little bit, but we're taking this length with us. We're not rounding in regular boat, okay? Now come up on your tiptoes, all right? And maybe you lift one leg, and then the other. Maybe you lift both legs. Hands can stay on your thighs. They can come out to the side. If I had a dust rag, I could dust the buffet, which it might be time. All right, but keep that heart lifted and that chest lifted wherever you are. All right, now let's let those feet come down and let's cross our legs a little bit, okay? So almost a little bit more than we do in our traditional cross, all right? And we're just gonna forward fold. Now tuck that chin to the chest, pull that belly in, come on up, and we'll move into one more boat, all right? Keep those sit bones and that tailbone connected, keep this upper body long, and again, maybe you experiment 1 foot, 2 feet. Your hands could stay on the ground, they can stay under your thighs, I couldn't think of what they were, or out to the side. Awesome. Now this time when you bring your feet down, cross them the opposite way, okay? We always have a way we naturally go. Just cross them the opposite way, and then we're going to bend forward into that forward fold. Alrighty, now let's roll up. And we're going to bring those legs long in front of us. If you have a strap, this would be a great time to have it near you, okay? If you have a strap belt, if not, we've got options, no worries, right? All right, keep those legs long in front of you. You've got your sit bones rocked in, gently pull that fleshy part away from your sit bones. Inhale those arms up high, bring them straight in front of you, shoulder height, clasp those hands. Here we go, Kathy, here's the church, here's the steeple. Find your little church steeple there. Stare at those front fingers. Pull that belly in as you slowly roll down. Now another option is to bend your legs if that feels better for you. Okay, so keep your gaze fixed at those front 2 middle fingers, front 2 pointer fingers. And when you get all the way down, then let yourself go into that full body stretch, okay? Awesome. Find extra length, stretch out so that your fingertips are going as long as they can, your toes are going as long as they can. And then we're gonna come back for a little stretch, all right? So you are down in this position. If you have your straps, I'm hoping you can see me okay. If you have your strap, go ahead and capture that right leg. We're gonna send it up to the sky with the strap. Now, if you don't have a strap, no worries, right? Because you can use your hand right now. And at this point, you can bend and straighten that leg. All right, we're in a gentle hamstring stretch. Gentle. Or you can just keep it straight. It really depends, again, on what you need. So we've got our strap in both hands. Our neck is long and released. Now we are going to go ahead and transfer that strap into the right hand, that strap or belt. All right, and we're slowly going to let that leg open to the side. All right, we're just opening that hip, and there is no right level to where it should come down. Right, just like with anything with yoga, it is what we need, what each person needs, and one side of our body is often very different than the other side. Breathing. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling, or it's a great time to close your eyes. Now pull that belly into the spine. Let's lift that leg center. Let's transfer that strap into the opposite hand. Okay. Right arm comes out to a T, and the left arm helps go down with that leg. I'm going to move a little bit so you can maybe see. We're just going to cross for a gentle spinal twist. Now it appears I could be dusting the buffet with my foot. All right, keep breathing. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling or in that arm that's at the T. Now pull that belly in and come center. All right, and again, if you don't have a strap, you can do all these same things by just guiding that leg over and hanging on at a lower spot on your leg. Now let's release that leg long as we prepare for the other side. So go ahead, capture that left leg. I always say capture as if it's like running away someplace, right? And you've got to go search for it. I'm guessing it's where you left it. All right, feel free to bend and straighten that leg if you wish, or just keep it long. Excellent. When you're ready, transfer that strap to your left hand. Allow that left leg to open out to the side. Again, to whatever level is comfortable for you. Your other hand is out into a T. Shoulder blades stay on the mat. Okay. If you are not using a strap right now, you can bend that leg and do the same thing. Just allow that hip to open. Okay? All right, from here, let's pull that belly into the spine, lift that leg high. We're going to transfer the straps to the right hand, and then this is when your left hand comes to a T. Your right leg comes over for this gentle spinal twist. You may have to be like me and just move around a little bit, depending on your space. This will be easier to do outside when we have a little more space. All right, now slowly bring that leg back to center. Go ahead and bring that other leg back up to join it, or if you're not using a strap, I'm going to scooch back on my mat. If you're not using a strap, you're just bringing those feet straight up in the air, and you're gently holding on behind your hamstrings. All right, now let's bring those knees to the chest. Let that strap fall away. Rock just a little bit side to side. And then when you're ready, go ahead and find that full body stretch again. Right? After you stretch, let your legs feel heavy, let your arms feel heavy. Maybe you want them open in more of cactus arms. Maybe you want them down by your side. Okay? You can nuzzle those shoulder blades under a little bit, let those feet fall open, and just breathe. Feel free to close your eyes if you wish. Feel the heaviness in your limbs as well as the lightness that's within you. So we have that heaviness, that release in our limbs from that muscle work. But we also have that lightness that's within us, that's within our spirit, that helps us walk that walk between chaos and hope, right? So even when we do feel heavy, we can search for that lightness inside that gives us that hope. Now when you are ready, begin to just find some movement. Maybe roll out those wrists a little bit, especially from our down dogs and our planks. Roll those those wrists one direction than the other, or gardening, if any of you have been gardening. My right wrist is a little goofy because of that, but it's certainly worth it. Roll out those ankles. And then slowly turn to one side or the other in that baby pose just for a minute, and let your breath come back in its regular patterns. And then when you're ready, slowly bring yourself up to seated. Taking your time. And as you do, here's our last quote on hope for the day. From Emily Dickinson, of course. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without words and never stops at all. Let's go ahead and inhale those arms up, bringing our hands through heart center. The light in me is honored and lifted by the light and the hope and the spirit that is you. Namaste. Thank you for coming and practicing today. It's great to connect, even though it's a virtual connection, because you can feel that connection, right? I hope you can. So thanks for coming out. I probably will have another Facebook Live towards the end of the week, hopefully outside, so we can hear the birds again. So have a wonderful night. Just take care of yourself, stay well, keep the hope, keep the light that is within you.